Some cars are built to get you from point A to point B, and then there are cars that are built to remind you why you fell in love with driving in the first place. Welcome back to Prime Car Culture, and today we are standing in front of something truly special, the all-new 2027 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, the most focused, most powerful, and most uncompromising Camaro concept Chevrolet has ever teased for the road. If you thought this legendary nameplate was gone for good, get ready, because this is Chevrolet's answer to every muscle car purist who refused to give up hope. Stay with us till the very end of this video, because we are about to walk you through every single detail of this machine, inside and out, and trust me, you do not want to miss what is waiting under that hood. Let's start our journey, right where every great muscle car story begins, at the face of the beast. This front grille is wide, low, and aggressive, dominating the entire nose of the car, with a mesh pattern that looks like it was carved specifically to swallow air and feed a hungry engine behind it. The bow tie sits proud and centered, flanked by sharp intake vents that hint at the serious cooling demands of a true performance machine. And every line here is functional, not decorative, because this is a car built for the track first and the boulevard second. Now look at these headlights. Slim, angular, almost blade-like in their shape, they slash outward from the center of the fascia and give the entire front end a predatory stance that is unmistakably Camaro, yet completely modernized for 2027. The projector units sit deep within the housing, wrapped in a dark smoked finish that adds menace without sacrificing visibility, and when they light up at night, this car transforms into something that looks ready to hunt down the horizon. Right alongside them, the daytime running lights draw a thin razor-sharp signature across the front end, a glowing outline that makes this Camaro instantly recognizable from a block away, day or night. It is a small detail, but it is the kind of small detail that separates a good design from an unforgettable one. And once you see the signature roll past you on the street, you will never mistake this car for anything else. Let's move down to the wheels, because a car like this lives and dies by what is wrapped around those brake calipers. These forged alloy wheels are finished in a deep gunmetal tone, spun into a multi-spoke pattern designed to maximize brake cooling while shedding as much unsprung weight as possible. And they are wrapped in ultra-high-performance rubber that looks like it was pulled straight off a track day build sheet. Every curve of these wheels has a purpose, from the aerodynamic pockets between the spokes to the way the design draws your eye toward those massive brake rotors hiding just behind them. Now here's a detail most people rush past, but we never do on this channel: the door handle. Flush mounted, minimal, and finished in a satin black that blends seamlessly into the body line. This handle disappears into the silhouette when not in use, cutting drag and keeping the car's profile as clean and uninterrupted as possible, a small but telling sign of how much attention went into every inch of this build. Moving up just slightly, take a look at these side mirrors, sculpted into an aerodynamic teardrop shape that slices through turbulent air instead of fighting it, mounted low and wide for maximum visibility, and finished in the same carbon-accented trim you will find scattered across the rest of the exterior. These are not just mirrors, they are functional aero components engineered to keep the cabin quiet even when this car is being pushed to its absolute limit. Now let's swing around to the back, because the rear of this Camaro tells its own story. These taillights stretch across the entire width of the car in a single, continuous light bar, glowing with a deep red intensity that instantly announces this car's presence to everything behind it. The design draws a clear line back to Camaro heritage, while pushing the signature into a sleeker, more futuristic direction. And when these lights pulse on braking, there is no mistaking what you just saw pass you by. Right beneath them, we cannot ignore these exhaust pipes, quad-tipped, finished in a dark chrome, and mounted low within a diffuser that is clearly built to manage airflow at serious speed. These are not decorative tips bolted on for show. They are functional outlets for what we can only assume is a properly furious engine note, and just imagining the sound these pipes are capable of producing is enough to get any gearhead's heart racing. And of course, right there on the rear deck sits the emblem, the bow tie, gleaming and proud, a symbol with decades of racing heritage behind it, now representing the return of one of the most iconic performance nameplates in American automotive history. Every generation of Camaro has carried this badge into battle, and this one looks ready to carry it further than ever before. Alright, it is time to step inside, and honestly, this is where the Z28 might surprise you the most. The moment you open the door, you are greeted with a cabin that feels less like a factory interior and more like a bespoke performance cockpit, wrapped in materials that immediately tell you this is not a base model Camaro. Let's start with this dashboard, a wide, driver-focused layout that wraps around you rather than simply sitting in front of you, blending soft-touch materials with sharp angular vents and contrast stitching that draws your eye across the entire width of the cabin. Nothing here feels accidental. Every surface transition has been deliberately placed to keep your focus exactly where it should be, on the road ahead. Now grab hold of this steering wheel, flat-bottomed for easier entry and exit, wrapped in genuine leather with contrast red stitching, and loaded with intuitive controls that keep your hands exactly where they belong during a hard corner. The grip feels substantial without being bulky, and every button falls naturally under your thumb, which is exactly what you want when you are pushing a car like this to its limits. Right behind that wheel sits the digital instrument cluster, a crisp, fully configurable display that can switch between a clean daily driving layout and an aggressive track mode that pushes the tachometer front and center, complete with a shift light sequence that lights up as you approach redline. This is not a gauge cluster borrowed from an economy hatchback. This is a display built specifically with performance driving in mind. In the center of the dashboard, you will find the infotainment screen, angled slightly toward the driver, running a fast and responsive interface that handles everything from navigation to performance data logging, including lap timers and G-force meters for those days when this Camaro finally makes it onto a real racetrack. Just below it, the center console is a study in purposeful design, blending drive mode selectors, launch control activation, and climate controls into a layout that never feels cluttered. Everything within easy reach, without ever pulling your attention too far from the road. And right there, nestled perfectly into the console, sits the gear shifter, short throw, weighted precisely, wrapped in leather with a metal accent that catches the light every time your hand moves toward it. A tactile reminder that this car still wants you involved in every single gear change. Now sink into these front seats, deeply bolstered performance buckets designed to hold you firmly in place through hard cornering, wrapped in a mix of leather and suede-inspired fabric that grips rather than slides, with stitched detailing that mirrors the exterior's aggressive design language. These are not seats built for comfort alone. They are built to keep you locked in when this car starts showing you what it is truly capable of. As the sun goes down, this cabin transforms completely, and that is where the ambient lighting truly shines. Literally, subtle strips of customizable light trace the door panels, the dashboard, and the footwells, casting a soft glow that turns this cockpit into something that feels more like a private lounge than a car interior. An atmosphere that somehow manages to feel both relaxing and exciting at the very same time. Run your hand across these door panels and you will immediately notice the difference. Genuine leather wrapped with precision, contrast stitching running in perfectly even lines, and soft touch inserts that make even the most overlooked surfaces of this cabin feel genuinely premium, a level of craftsmanship that this nameplate has rarely seen before. Now, for the moment every single one of you has been waiting for, because a Camaro like this simply would not be complete without something serious hiding beneath that long, sculpted hood. Pop the hood open, and this engine bay is an absolute showpiece. A bright red strut brace stretching across the top, carbon fiber accents lining the edges, and just enough exposed hardware to remind you that this is not a car built for spreadsheets, it is a car built for speed. And here it is, the heart of this entire machine. A high-output small-block V8, rumored to draw inspiration from Chevrolet's latest performance architecture, sending power exclusively to the rear wheels through a chassis tuned specifically for this flagship trim. Every component under this hood looks purposeful, every hose and bracket positioned with performance in mind. A clear signal that this engine was never designed to simply move the car, it was designed to make you feel every single horsepower the moment your foot touches that throttle. Even the underside of this hood carries a story, lined with heat shielding, that hints at just how much thermal energy this engine is expected to generate once it is pushed hard on a warm summer afternoon. And the way the entire bay is organized tells you this was engineered by people who actually care about performance, not just marketing photos. Step back, take a full look at this car from a distance, and you start to understand just how cohesive this entire design language really is. Every panel gap, every crease, every vent working together toward one single goal, speed with style. And that right there is the 2027 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, a car that manages to honor everything that made this nameplate legendary while pushing it into a bold, modern, and genuinely exciting new direction. From that razor-sharp front fascia to the thunderous exhaust note we can only imagine echoing out of those quad tips, this is a machine built for people who still believe driving should feel like an experience, not just a task. If this video gave you even a fraction of the excitement we felt putting it together, do us a favor and smash that like button. Drop a comment telling us what you think about this Camaro's return. And if you are not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we are just getting started here at Prime Car Culture, and trust us, you do not want to miss what we are covering next. Until then, keep chasing the cars that make your heart race, keep dreaming about the ones parked just out of reach, and keep coming back to this channel, because that is exactly what we live for. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the very next one.